今天上午。
出入费管理。你所以我就得让他没理
但是这边的想法就是对中国经济自由，对中国的态度就自由，是他不是所以说你得跟他提过说，他对你的态度是因为他对中国就没什么好印象，以后你得好好的教育教育。
习性都是这样的，我也想改变我。
想最危险，
因为这开着开着容易被人拿板扔。
不知道，铺开以后，我认为铺开就是这种男的就是铺开的差不多，这种是假的。
因为你看一下那，哎，你那还没开啊？
开了，现在开了。
你 你看能联动吗？我摁一下啊，就是彩条。俩都联动了。行了。挺匀称的，通号挺匀称。好的，您就得这样。
怎么会
跟哪说理？
怎么会漏了？机子火火的。
Friends from the press, welcome to the regular press conference of the Foreign Ministry. Now I'd like to take your questions. CCTV.
The world is closely following the disruption of the Trump administration's tariff hikes on other countries. As two major economies, China and the EU have recently had quite a lot of high-level exchanges. Could you share with us their communication and coordination on additional U.S. tariffs? The U.S. uses tariff as a weapon to exert maximum pressure and seek selfish gains, and puts its own interests over the public good of the international community. This is a typical move of unilateralism, protectionism, and economic bullying, which severely hurts the interests of China, the EU, and the rest of the world. As the second and third largest economies, China and the EU collectively account for over a third of the global economy and more than a quarter of global trade. Both sides are advocates of economic globalization and trade liberalization, and firm defenders and supporters of the WTO. The head of the EU underscored the vital importance of stability and certainty for a sound global economy. China and the EU are committed to a fair, free, and WTO-centered multilateral trading system and the sound and steady development of global trade and economic relations, which is in the interest of both sides and the rest of the world. As a responsible major country, China has already taken resolute measures and will continue to do so to safeguard its legitimate interests. China stands ready to work with the international community, including the EU, to step up communication, share development opportunities, expand opening up and cooperation, and achieve mutual benefits. We will not only safeguard our own respective interests, but also defend international trade rules, fairness, and justice. Next one, please. Please turn on your microphone. China Arab TV. The U.S. tariff policy has been repeatedly revised, and currently some Chinese imported products are exempt from tariffs. What's China's comment? Will China take mitigation measures correspondingly?
The spokesperson of the Ministry of Commerce has made clear China's view on this. Facts have shown and will continue to show that there are no winners in a trade war, and protectionism will lead nowhere. The tariff tsunami hurts the U.S. itself as well as other countries. We urge the U.S. to put maximum pressure and resolve issues through dialogue on the basis of equality, respect, and mutual benefit. Next one, please.
China News Service. Foreign Ministry spokesperson recently said China will take firm countermeasures against the U.S. additional visa restrictions on Chinese officials determined to be substantially involved in the formulation and execution of policies related to access for foreigners to Tibetan areas. Could you share more details on those countermeasures? Xizang affairs are purely China's internal affairs. The U.S. arbitrary visa restrictions on Chinese officials under the pretext of the Xizang-related issues violate international law and basic norms. According to the law on foreign relations of the PRC and the anti-foreign sanctions law of the PRC, China decided to impose visa restrictions on U.S. personnel who have acted egregiously on the Xizang-related issues. Xizang is an open region. We welcome friends from foreign countries to visit, travel, and do business in China's Xizang region. At the same time, we oppose any country or individual using human rights, religion, and culture as a false pretext to meddle in Xizang affairs. We also oppose interference sabotage by people with ill motives who would use visits to Xizang as an opportunity to engage in such activities. Next one, please.
Question from Antara.
安塔拉、印尼和中国庆祝了建交75周年，是在昨天4月13日。在给普拉博沃总统致贺电时，习近平主席表示，中印尼共同体树立了团结的典范。在当前复杂动荡的国际形势中，双方将如何深化两国之间的合作呢？
Yesterday marked the 75th anniversary of diplomatic ties between China and Indonesia. President Xi Jinping and President Prabowo exchanged congratulatory messages, spoke highly of the development of bilateral ties, and stressed that they will firmly support each other's national development outlook, jointly advance along our respective modernization path, and lead the relationship to new heights. We have full confidence in a better future of the growth of China-Indonesia relations. Both China and Indonesia are major developing countries and important forces in the global south. The cooperation between the two countries has strategic significance and global influence. Amid increasing turbulence in the international landscape, the all-round strategic cooperation between China and Indonesia is all the more important. As we celebrate the 75th anniversary of our diplomatic ties, China stands ready to work with Indonesia to jointly uphold regional development, prosperity and stability, work for closer coordination between major countries, keep the multilateral trading system, industrial and supply chain stable and smooth, and demonstrate the influence of China-Indonesia community with a shared future for mankind in the region and the world at large. Next one, please.
China Daily. In his remarks at the 2025 Central American Security Conference in Panama City, U.S. Defense Secretary Peter Hegseth blatantly peddled the China threat narrative and made aggressive remarks on China's military and companies. He said the U.S. must prevent war by robustly deterring China's threat in the Western Hemisphere. Deputy Secretary Lando claimed in El Salvador the importance of collaboration on 5G, cybersecurity and AI, and stressed the need to prevent China from accessing it. Was China's comment? The remarks of relevant U.S. officials are steeped in ideological bias and the Cold War mentality. There is not a single word of truth in them. Who sees Latin America and the Caribbean as a backyard and forces the Monroe Doctrine on them? Who keeps pointing fingers at the domestic affairs of these countries? Who has been coercing them with tariff threats? Who has engaged in massive global surveillance? Who's got military bases all over the Western Hemisphere? Who's letting small arms and light weapons and ammunition flow into Latin America and the Caribbean as a zone of peace? The world knows fully well the answer to these questions. China's cooperation with Latin America and the Caribbean countries is South-South cooperation. It's always aimed at giving each other support and never driven by geopolitical calculations. China is committed to equality and mutual benefit engaging with these countries and never seeks sphere of influence or targets any third party. The U.S. keeps vilifying China and peddling the so-called China threat in order to cook up a pretext to justify their action to control countries in this region, yet they will never succeed. Next one, please.
Thank you. A question from AFP. A Russian missile attack.
法新社俄罗斯的导弹袭击使得乌克兰的城市苏米在昨天30人死亡，包括儿童。特朗普总统和其他国家领导人都谴责这一次袭击，这是几个月来最为严重的一次。中方对于俄罗斯袭击乌克兰有何回应？
在乌克兰危机上的
China's position on the Ukraine crisis is clear and consistent. Negotiations is the only way out. Next one, please.
Yeah.
法新社，英国政府本周末表示，正在控制中国金业集团的交易，而且英方官员表示，使得英方的钢铁集团落入中方手中是一个天真的想法。中方对于这一英方的措施有何回应？
据我了解。
As far as I know, the company you mentioned is a Chinese private company and carries out cooperation with the British side based on marketized principles. For the difficulties the EU has faced in steel, the two sides should resolve the issue based on mutual benefit principle. We hope the British government can treat Chinese companies investing in the UK fairly and justly, protect its legitimate rights and interests, avoid turning it into political and security ones, and so as not to undermine Chinese companies' confidence in investing in the UK. Next one, please.
Shenzhen TV. Last week, Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez visited China, which received extensive and close attention. During an interview amid the trip, he noted the aim of the visit is to consolidate Spain's relations with China and enhance dialogue and cooperation with China. He also stressed that Spain and the EU support free trade and stand ready to work with China to address global challenges. What's your comment? This is Prime Minister Sanchez's third visit to China within 3 years. This visit is a great success and demonstrates the firm willingness and determination of China and Spain to further grow the ties. During the visit, President Xi Jinping met with him and Premier Li Qiang had talks with him. Leaders of the two countries had friendly and in-depth exchanges of views. The two sides jointly issued the action plan for strengthening the comprehensive strategic partnership and proposed to build a more strategically resilient and dynamic comprehensive strategic partnership to better serve the well-being of both peoples, inject impetus into China-EU relations, and make greater contributions to world peace, stability, and development. Leaders of the two countries had in-depth and strategic communication on bilateral relations. They agreed to continue respect and support each other. Spain reaffirmed its commitment to the One China principle and stressed the importance to leverage their complementary cooperation advantages, strengthen cooperation in trade, investment, and other traditional areas, and tap the potential in emerging areas like new energy, artificial intelligence, and digital economy. They underscored the need to explore the rich historical heritage of the two Asian civilizations, give a stronger boost to cooperation in culture, education, and tourism, and carry forward the deep bond fostered through the Olympics and Panda cooperation. They also exchanged views on China-EU relations and international and regional issues of mutual interest. They stressed the need to boost the steady development of China-EU relations and stay committed as each other's partner for mutually beneficial cooperation. Both the two countries are positive supporters of multilateralism, and the two sides need to uphold free trade and steady global economic order. President Xi Jinping mentioned, as the international situation gets more complex and volatile, it's increasingly important for two countries to develop sound and stable relations. China stands ready to work with the international community, including Spain, to firmly stand on the right side of history, firmly defend multilateralism, international order and rules, oppose unilateralism and protectionism, promote open cooperation, defend the common interests of the international community, and provide more confidence and driving force into world development and prosperity. Next one, please.
Any other questions?
法新社英国外交大臣拉米表示，英方的议员上周被拒绝入境香港。他向中方官员提出了此事，中方能否解释为什么这一英方议员拒绝入境英国，以及您对于外交大臣拉米的关切有何回应？
The Hong Kong SAR government has made a statement. I want to stress that border entry affairs belongs to a country's sovereignty. The SAR government has the right to deal with border entry individual cases according to relevant laws and policies. Next one, please.
Any
other questions? Any other questions? If not, that will conclude today's press conference. Thank you for coming.
对呀，他在这等着，万一有人再重新问一下，对。结果没问。都累。